All right, welcome everybody. Excited about this webinar where we get to talk about the muscadine. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Can I get a confirmation from somebody that you're seeing the slide? Okay, thank you very much. So as you can see on here, this product training is about muscadine seeds and skins. And here at Top Shelf Nutra, we have products that use various part of this superfruit called the muscadine. In many of our formulas, we have them isolated, we have them combined, we also have extracts. And so we're going to kind of talk about that. And if you have any questions or comments you want to share at the end, we'll make sure we have time for that. Before I jump into this discussion, I want to mention that Top Shelf Nutra does not diagnose, prescribe, or treat diseases. And so we encourage everybody to always be in consultation with your physician before making any major changes to your diet and lifestyle. Products are intended to support your body's natural abilities to heal, maintain, and repair itself. And with that, let's go ahead and move on into these slides. So the big question, and this is what led this being the topic today, is I have had a number of people say, what's a muscadine or muscadine? And people are always they're always pronouncing it different. It is an interesting word, and the muscadines were early and first cultivated by Native Americans. These were a food or a food source that the Native Americans depended upon, primarily in the southeastern United States. They would dry them and make raisins that they could consume throughout the year. They would juice them and make wine. There are a number of recipes that have survived that they would bake them actually in kind of a bread or a cornmeal mix. Kind of interesting. But besides eating these fresh fruits, the natives also talked about how they use this as a preservation. And some of us remember from the old world, that wine has been a staple of hydration for centuries. And it wasn't that everybody was walking around drunk drinking wine, but instead, because it ferments, it gets a certain amount of alcohol in it. It actually has the ability of purifying water. And so oftentimes when people would carry water on a journey, they would add some fermented grape juice to that water, and they found that they didn't get sick. And it was because water could be preserved, keep it from having bacteria and so forth that would be harmful. So throughout the centuries, fermented grape juice has been used as a preservant for water, which, as you know, is a staple to life. Well, that was no different with the Native Americans. And so this allowed them to drink from multiple sources without having all the water preservation methods that we have today. Fermented superfruits was a common practice. And it wasn't just the alcohol, but it was the phenolic compounds, the antioxidants, all of the various things that are found in grapes that when a little bit of it is added to the water would allow the water to still stay pure and clean. As they would carry it around and have to go through journeys in the desert between oasis and so forth. So not just in America, but throughout the old world, the grapes and fermented grapes have been used. Well, let's talk specifically about the muscadine, what makes it different from other grapes. Muscadine grapes are the native grape to America. There were lots and are today lots of grapes that have been brought to America. And if you're familiar with table grapes that we snack on all the time today, those are not native to America. Those are mostly European varieties that have been brought over here and found areas in the country where they grow well. But the muscadine is one of the pure Native American grapes. Um, As you can see there on the right, they've discovered just in the most recent, say, 15 years or so, the amazing health benefits. They're continuing to do research. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But they've found links to improved cardiovascular health, blood glucose levels, fighting and preventing cancers, fighting inflammation, promoting youthful looking skin, promoting healthy cholesterol levels, reducing the appearance of wrinkles and aging, supporting sexual health, promoting blood flow, and reducing storage of body fat, just to name a few. A couple of others of regrowing hair, regrowing skin, and we'll talk more about them. But basically, this muscadine has been used by the Native Americans and was used for centuries, but now only recently are we reintroducing this forgotten fruit into our diet. And the main reason is because of all of the discoveries that have been happening. What makes it different? Well, this Vitis rotundifolia, as its Latin term is considered, it has the appearance of a large grape, but the more you dig into it chemically, the more you realize that it is more a berry than a grape from a nutritional standpoint. And in fact, it has the health benefits of most fruits, berries, nuts, a lot of the compounds that we're told, hey, you should eat this because it contains this, or you should put this in your diet because it has that. All of these are found in the muscadine. And we won't go into all the details of this, but boy, you jump onto Chat GPT and say, tell me all the nutrients that are found in the muscadine grape, and you'll be amazed. It basically covers the gamut when it comes to nutritional phenolic compound benefits. A unique thing about the muscadine, it's rather rare because we've only found it growing and thriving in one place in the world, and that's in the southeastern United States. As far as we know, we haven't been able to locate it anywhere else in the world. But the muscadine thrives in an area where the typical grapes, the European varieties, they struggle. And you'd say, well, why is that? Well, it's really because of the genetics of the muscadine. The muscadine grape has extra chromosomes that the typical table grape or even wine grape does not have. And those chromosomes help the grape defend itself. It creates its own immunity and ability to fight. And the more difficult the environment, the more the muscadine fights, and the more it fights, the healthier it is, and the more it thrives. I know that sounds interesting, but challenges are what bring out the strength in us, and that's the same with the muscadine. And so down in the southeastern United States, where there's a higher occurrence of heat, and there's also a lot of humidity. You end up with situations with mold and fungus. You end up with a lot of insects and bugs that attack. And the more they attack, the stronger the muscadine gets. It produces its own defense. So we'll talk more about that, but let's go over some of the research timeline we know of about the muscadine. The earliest record or written record we have, other than the tradition of the natives, was the occurrence of muscadine grapevines documented back in 1524 by Captain Giovanni de Verrazzano. He came across a variety of the muscadine, the scuppernong, which was a white. So there's varying different. There's red, there's purple, kind of a crimson. There's also a white variety of muscadine. And he wrote that the Native Americans esteemed these grapes very highly because they would actually remove other shrubbery and clear around them so that they could have access to soil and access to sun, access to water, etc. So it was pretty obvious to this early uh, um, discover that the natives were actually cultivating, if you will, from a standpoint of helping the muscadines to produce. There's a letter written in 1584 to the English explorer Sir Walter Raleigh that said that in North Carolina, he described a land so full of grapes that the very beating and the surge of the sea overflowed them, meaning these grapes were reaching clear down into the ocean. He responded to that letter the following year when he went and observed it himself and discovered what we now call the mother vine out on Roanoke Island. I'll show you a picture of that here in a second. But he said the vine, the mother vine, had a base thickness of 2 feet through. Imagine a grapevine 2 feet in diameter, and that the huge vine covered half an acre, coiling up tree trunks and growing 60 feet tall in those trees. So, just giving you a little bit of a visual of what this muscadine looked like to these early explorers. You can see a picture there on the screen of that mother vine. Captain John Hawkins recorded his sailing records in 1585. He said the Spanish settlements there made large quantities of local wine using the muscadine and claimed that little wine was good for much more than the stomach's sake. In other words, they were using this wine as a health remedy as well, not just as something to drink, not just as something that would purify water, but it was actually used in health remedies for various reasons. James Blount of the town of Scuppernong, named after the grape, took the census of Washington County, North Carolina in 1810, reported 1,368 gallons of wine was made there. So quite popular as a natural native grape for making wine back in the early 1800s. 8 years later, 1819, Nathaniel Macon, a member of Congress, sent samples of the Scuppernong wine to President Thomas Jefferson. And if you go visit the Thomas Jefferson estate or home out in Monticello, you will see that he was growing, planted, harvested muscadines in his vineyard there, and we've been there to visit. That's kind of fun. So the cultivation of muscadines began early, but it really didn't take off until more recently. And one of the reasons, I mean, there've been small vineyards and small things, but one of the reasons is that compared to the European variety, the muscadine, is different. It has a very, very thick skin and large, large bitter seeds. And so it takes more work to juice them. You get less juice per grape and more work per grape than in some of the other varieties. And so the muscadine in time became replaced as far as winemaking and grape juice making by some of the other varieties. Here's kind of a picture to show you the thick, thick skin, which eats up some of the surface area for juice, right? So it has a more pulp, thicker skin, larger seeds. And so rather than become preserved and enhanced by cultivating, what's happened is it kind of just got left as a wild fruit and it just grew in the forest of southeastern United States. And so if you grew up in that area, you'd be familiar with them only because they'd climb up power poles and tree trunks and you'd remember going out and throwing sticks or rocks into the bushes to try and get these berries to fall down, and you would bite into them, suck the juice out, and you would spit the skin and the seeds out on the ground, because just like juicing these was hard work, eating them was more hard work than typical grapes as well, because the skins are not the greatest tasting and the seeds especially are bitter, and it's more work to eat these than it would be to get the sweetness. However, the sweet pulp and juice were sought after. Now today we're seeing more and more of these vineyards popping up and more production of muscadines, cultivation of muscadines. And the reason is because of the nutritional value that's been discovered in the seeds and skins. So the muscadine seeds and skins surpass all known superfruits, both in the phytonutrients found in them, but also just the antioxidants, the anti-inflammatories, etc. It's the list of what is found and what we gain from the muscadine is really a never-ending list. So research began early 2000s. about the muscadine, and in fact, North Carolina took in 2001 the opportunity to name the muscadine as its state fruit. So you think, well, why did they wait so long to name a state fruit? Well, they didn't really have one, but all of a sudden, this Native American grape that has been growing in the forest all of a sudden started to be used as a cultivation crop. And so North Carolina reached out and grabbed it. Here is just a list of some of the phytonutrients that are found in the muscadine. This is not an exhaustive list, but phytonutrients or phytochemicals, they basically represent plant nutrients, naturally occurring nutritional elements found in a food or a substance. And you can see that there's just many nutrients found in these compounds. So they call it the smarter grape. I mentioned that it has those two extra chromosomes, and so as they are exposed to higher heat and humidity, as they are attacked by pests and disease and mold and fungi, then the fruit will actually create scars on the outside. You can see those little dots on the outside. That's where they've been attacked, and they have produced their own immune response, which has created a scar that does not allow any of the attackers to get inside of the fruit. And it actually, by doing that, it increases the phenolic count. In fact, I was at the vineyard once with a gentleman, and he said, "Yeah, pick some, try them." And I went and picked the pretty ones that didn't have any scars on them. And he said, "Well, there you go. That shows your inexperience." The ones that have the most scars, probably the ugliest looking ones, maybe the least appetizing ones, are actually the healthiest because they've had to produce more of the immune response and protect themselves, and therefore they have higher immune benefits for humans when we consume them. So, what do we do with these? Well, we juice them. We take the seeds and the skins, and we produce kind of a freeze dried powder out of them. We freeze dry them, then we grind them up, and we have a powder that we can use in our capsules, powder that we can add to other formulas. And so that's one of the processes. Another process is that we will take those seeds before they're freeze dried, and we will just air dry them, and then we will cold press them. And out of the press comes a very rich oil, muscadine seed oil, drop by drop, and we put it in little bottles with a syringe that we can then consume daily. And the oil that comes from the muscadine seeds is, of course, really high in all of those phytonutrients we were talking about. But another compound that's discovered in muscadine seeds, basically one of the only true viable marketable sources of this compound, is called tocotrienol. And tocotrienol, you just imagine kind of a supercharged, extra powerful, extra valuable form of vitamin E. Tocotrienols, or T3s, are a highly sought after compound in the cosmetic industry and the nutritional industry, and there are lots and lots of places that are now investigating and researching what T3s actually do, because prior to this there hasn't really been a dietary source that was viable for the market. Now, because of this discovery with muscadines, we've got one. The other thing that we'll do is we'll take this poultice of the seeds and skins and put them through a distillation process at lower temps, but with a pressurized distillation, and we will create an extract out of it. And so some of our products, for example, the Detox Tea, uses a muscadine extract. Now, why would we use an extract rather than the actual seeds and skins? Well, we have the seeds and skins in a number of our products, but the extract allows us to get even higher antioxidant levels. We lose some of the other nutrients. That's why we still need our GTM product that has all of the natural seeds and skins compound in it, but we're able to boost our antioxidant score and the ORAC score by using an extract. And so that's what's in the Detox Tea, for example. There were a number of early books written about the power of muscadines, medicine, and muscadine power. These books are still available. You can find them online. But these books basically just talk about this powerful combination of phenolics that are found in the seeds, skins, and juice of the muscadine. Now, this is not an exhaustive list, but just to show you some of the brands or list or logos of some of the very, very highly respected institutes and universities that have done research on the muscadine, not just done research, but published it. These are published studies, double-blind placebo studies done on animals and humans that they've published the benefits of the muscadine. So I'm going to walk you through a quick timeline of some of this research. In 2006, North Carolina State University published an abstract on muscadine grape products and its effects on blood sugar levels. 2007, Appalachian State University published a study of quercetin from muscadine supporting immune function and intensive exercise. National Cancer Institute in 2007 did studies on muscadine grapes and containing unique phytochemical constituents compared with other grapes, talking about how they are a potential source of very novel compounds and with anti-tumor activities. 2009 was when a large grant was given to Wake Forest Medical Center to begin testing muscadines and its effect on aberrant or mutated cells and cancer and their rate of growth. And there was a study then published in the American College of Nutrition, which talks about muscadine therapy and its benefits on cardiovascular health. This was where they talked about that the muscadine increased the brachial artery by 4.44%, increasing circulation, which you know benefits all areas of health because you're now able to get blood flow to ancillary areas, reinvigorating tissues, reinvigorating multiple body systems. So this was a big breakthrough that not only proved that it is beneficial, but it was completely safe, and that there was no cause of alarm for consuming muscadines. 2010, the School of Pharmaceutical Science in Malaysia researched the positive effect of tocotrienol supplementation with hair growth. Very interesting one. And Oxford academic published an abstract in Carcinogenesis regarding the anti-carcinogenic or anti-cancer properties of tocotrienols. Again, that's the oil coming out of the muscadine seeds. Monash University of Medicine published research explaining the benefits of tocotrienol supplementation with blood sugar. Again, so we've got blood sugar research on the seeds and skins. Now we have blood sugar research on the muscadine seed oil. And now we have big research coming out about cancer and two abstracts describing how muscadine treatments and the replication and the reduction of the replication of aberrant cells. So those were ones I highlighted, but you can see here all of these published articles and studies that are have happened, and I need to update this because I'm only showing through 2017. One fun one in 2016 was that the Southern Florida University demonstrated that consumption of tocotrienols or muscadine seed oil orally stops the synthesis and storage of body fat. So they showed that as long as these tocotrienols are in the system and combined with the food in the diet, that the body does not store fat. So I thought that was an interesting study. Again, here we've got more. The research continues, showing us up through 2019. So one of the products you're familiar with is the muscadine seed oil. We use this topically. We take it orally. I love it. One of the things that I have used it for just recently was the regeneration of skin. I had to have some skin extracted on my ear, and I have been consuming the muscadine seed oil now for the last few weeks. The doctors are shocked at how quickly I was able to regenerate and regrow skin, and with reduced inflammation, et cetera. And so, using it topically and using it orally, this is an amazing, all natural, 100% natural superfood that we have access to. Now, here's a quick little video. Let me optimize us for watching this, if I can figure out how to do that. Doo-doo-doo. All right. And here's a quick little 2-minute video on muscadine seed oil.
This right here, it's been here for 400 years and nobody knew about it. I had like leftover acne blemishes on my face and I used the oil.
I tried it and I committed to using it every day for a week just to see what would happen.
I've begun applying it to my skin.
So I still had a scar that was from here, really dark. I started using it twice daily.
I started pulling up selfies that I had sent them and I did a side by side and I was shocked.
Only thing I did was incorporate a few drops into my skin regime morning and night.
When we got this product, I was using about 7 different kinds of oils because I am an oil girl. And all I did was I moved all of those away from my vanity and I used one thing.
In the kitchen, it's in the bathroom, it's in my part. Nobody's talked about the fat loss part of it. I take it with every meal.
Some of the scarring that I had around my eye, it was now not even visible.
Within 2 weeks, it all cleared up.
Your lashes are the longest I've seen them. They've all grown in. You've never had this many lashes. And I was like, really?
Just using this twice a day, not only has my skin changed and my wrinkles and everything else, but I now have eyebrows and eyelashes and I have to trim my eyebrows. I haven't trimmed my eyebrows in 20 years. It's just the most amazing thing I've seen.
I noticed I was using a lot less foundation and people were stopping me that I hadn't seen in a while and saying, oh my gosh, Gigi, what about your skin? So for a girl that wasn't really blessed naturally with beautiful skin, that has been a great benefit to me.
I just turned 58. At 58, and people really don't know how old I am. My skin, my face had no makeup on.
I've lost blemishes, scars that I've dealt with for years.
And the scar has cleared up considerably, where you can barely notice.
Helps you from the inside out.
I went from 28 to 34 to 38 to 41 and 44 this morning.
Within 7 days, you're seeing results, real results. Our internal, our insides are healthier.
Listen, this is life changing.
All right. Well, hopefully that was helpful and informative. But this chart here is kind of fun with the muscadine because it shows us just from an antioxidant standpoint, not talking about all the other things that are found in the muscadine, but just the antioxidants. You can see from an ORIC score that the muscadine is many, many times more potent than other superfruits. And if you were to pull up the other types and do this type of testing on other nutrients, you'll see that it's the same across the board. It's many times more potent than the nuts and then the berries. And then, I mean, it's just an amazing, amazing superfruit. Now, I mentioned that there was a mother vine discovered out on Roanoke Island years and years and years ago, right? That was reported by Sir Walter Raleigh. Well, here you go. It's still there. Okay, this muscadine mother vine, which is believed to be the source of multiple, if not all, of the muscadines we have access to today. This mother vine still is out there on Roanoke Island, and you can go visit it. It costs nothing; it's just free to the public. It's the vines are held up by these trellises, if you see the picture there, and it spans this entire property. And this vine still produces muscadines today. And so over 400 years old and still producing grapes today. So kind of fun to visit. So we bring to you muscadine in many of our formulas, but then we also have two products that have just the muscadine in them. And so we've got both the muscadine seeds and skin capsules, and we have the muscadine seed oil. And what we know about the muscadines is that they support healthy blood flow, they support cognitive performance, short-term memory, healthy blood flow, not just the volume, but the viscosity, healthy blood pressure, healthy blood sugar levels, fighting off inflammation and edema, supporting healthy immune response, healthy sexual response, healthy DNA and cell division, boasting over 100 different antioxidants, meaning it doesn't just have high antioxidant levels, it has a wide range of antioxidants. So kind of like a magic puzzle piece that will fit in and adapt to whatever the situation is. Healthy oral and gut biome supports healthy skin and hair, fights free radicals, fights premature aging. So love, love, love what we see. So as a conclusion, then, we mentioned these at the beginning, but benefits of consuming muscadines on a regular basis is promoting youthful looking skin, reducing appearance of wrinkles, promoting cardiovascular health, supporting healthy blood glucose, promoting healthy blood cholesterol, reducing storage of body fat, reducing the risk of cancers, fighting chronic inflammation, supporting sexual health, promoting blood flow, and more. So thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this information. I hope it's helpful for you. We hope that you find the quality and the potency of the Top Shelf Nutra products to be beneficial. Again, we're not trying to diagnose, prescribe, or treat any disease, but we do believe that when we give the body these raw materials, these tools, the body can do amazing things. All right. Well, I want to now open it up and see if anybody has any comments, any questions, any testimonials or experiences you can share with us as we close out this webinar about the muscadine.
Good morning, Mr. Todd.
Good morning, Darlene.
How you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm holding up. Thank you for asking. I'd just like to say muscadine is like a magic fruit, a magic superfruit. It has done, I have experienced amazing results on different levels with muscadine. Um, the latest one is back in April 15th, I had surgery on my arm. I had a tumor removed, and the scar is, you can barely even see it. The doctor the other day looked at it and she was like, wow, it's amazing. It's like it's not there. So it helps with scarring where it's barely visible. It also helps with burns. A couple of years ago, I had a terrible second-degree burn on my left arm, and it had blistered up, and I bumped it, and the skin, it came off, so you saw nothing but pure meat. I've started putting that muscadine on there, and as of now, you can barely even tell that I had a burn.
Mm.
It also had helped me with hair growth. So I deal with alopecia and also dermatomyositis, which thins the hair out, amongst other things. And my hair, when I first started taking the muscadine oil, it was during the time we started the challenge in 2021. And I was taking it to help with the diabetes, with my blood sugar, and which it did. And but then I started noticing I was getting some little peach fuzz up in the top of my head. And I was like, what is this? And I kept taking the muscadine and my hair started growing.
Mm,
So it's a wonder fruit. It really is. And it also helps with um, dry skin because I use it on my as like a lotion. I
mhm.
rub it on my arms after the shower and bathe. Also, I put it on my face and it's helped my skin just radiant and glowing. So it's wonderful.
Wonderful, Darlene. Thank you for sharing that. That's so, so wonderful. We're so happy for you.
Thank you.
Well, I'm like that lady in the video. I keep it like 3 or 4 different places in my house. I can always grab it in the kitchen or put it around my eyes in the bathroom or whatever. I love it.
Thank you, Rena. Wonderful. Appreciate that very much. Anyone else have a comment or a question?
Yeah. Okay. I I'm currently a representative from a cosmetic company, and but when I add the muscadine underneath, like the anti-aging stuff is probably not that I look old, but probably part of the best part of it. I mean, yeah, the healing. I think I've had burns and scars that, but I just put it on there first before I put the rest of my products on, and
Mm,
seems to help a lot. So.
wonderful. Thank you, Susan.
Hi, this is
Mr. Todd?
Lorraine. Good morning.
Good morning,
I will
Florence.
I will not show my face, but my granddaughter, we use it, Phil and I both, but my granddaughter, we gave her a bottle. We purchased a bottle and gave it to her to use. She came home this summer and I was looking in the mirror and I said, what? She already had beautiful skin, but I said, wow, your skin look great. I mean, it changed her skin completely. Um, she was the other day. She was using the last ounce. She took the bottle and was hitting it in her hand for to get the last drop. And she said, "Uh, I need some more." I said, "You work and give me the money, and I will purchase it for you." But she loves it. I mean, she loves it. Her skin looked amazing. I don't know. I was completely shocked, even though I knew it would work, but it just looked differently. So I
Mhm.
wanted to share that with it. So get it to your teenage daughters and college students. Thank you.
Wonderful, Florine. Thank you. Wonderful stories. Thank you, everybody. Any last stories or questions before we wrap this up?
Yes, Mr. Todd.
Yes.
I just put it in the chat, but it also it helps with fat loss because it's a fat blocker. And it had helped me lose 48 pounds at a time back from 2021 to 2023. I was weighing 186 pounds and I got down in 2023 to 138.
Mm,
And and still today I lose inches. So it's great.
wonderful. Thank you, Darlene. All right. Well, I thank everybody for being with us. This has been a wonderful Zoom. I hope that the information is helpful. Please, share the Zoom and the link with the YouTube channel. Share it with people so that others can get the same benefits that we all are. And with that, I wish everybody a great rest of your Saturday. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Todd. Bye, everybody. Have a wonderful Saturday.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mr.
Thanks
Todd.
a
You
lot.
have
Have
a
a
great
great weekend,
day.
everyone.
Bye.